to consider the Super Bowl part of it, considering that was intrinsic to the question. It was Jim Plunkett, who won 2 Super Bowls with the Raiders, and Roger Staubach from the Naval Academy.
What? Jim Plunkett deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
What were you answering? Just 2 dudes who won the Heisman?
Yeah.
As amusing as all of this is, John Dorsey's been good enough to call us, and let's not leave him on hold any longer. He's the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, who made that decision to take the Heisman winner, Baker Mayfield, #1. And so, John, we appreciate the time very much. And let me start with this. Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com says that she spoke to a whole bunch of personnel people around the sport and found that there were quite a few who had Mayfield rated #1 on their draft board. There were a lot of big differences at the quarterback position at the top. How did you arrive ultimately at Mayfield at #1?
Well, they were all like there were 4 or 5 really good quarterbacks, as shown where they went in the first round. It took some time, but once you get unanimous consent within the organization, that's part of it too, because that's a big decision moving forward. And I know personally, once I left the private workout we had in Norman, Oklahoma, I knew in my gut that was the guy. I just wanted to wait and see what everybody else had to say when we got together as a group, personnel staff, coaching staff. And then to me, it was really easy at the end of the day because there was unanimous consent with the organization.
Can you put your finger on the biggest reason why? If I said, what's the single biggest reason your gut told you this is my guy, can you put your finger on it?
Well, you know, you take the physical components of it, his accuracy downfield, his quickness of delivery, the feet to extend the play. Those are one of it. But then when you watch him, how guys naturally gravitate to him with, we always call that it factor, that's it too. And then he's got such wonderful mental quickness in terms of being able to digest the game. You just, you know, at the end of the day, you knew this was the guy.
And so what's the plan now forward? I saw that Hue Jackson said Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starting quarterback for the time being. He made the acquisition during the offseason, and Mayfield he's the quarterback in waiting, obviously, at #1. How do you see that progressing?
Well, I've always thought to give a guy like this his best chance. You know, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So why put him out there already? He doesn't know the nuances of the game of professional football. So you have a playoff caliber quarterback in Tyrod Taylor, who was acquired in the trade. Why not give the young man a chance to understand, let the game slow down for him, and give him a chance to understand the little finer points of professional football, and then be able to expose him to it when he's ready to roll. And that way, that gives you the best chance for long-term success.
There's a perspective that I love, and it's obviously the way pro football used to be and isn't quite as much anymore because there is this pressure for these kids to get on the field. As a general rule, do you think that quarterbacks would be better developed in pro football today if they sat and watched for a while?
I do. I've always erred on the side of patience, and I think it's always good to be a little bit patient, especially at the quarterback position, to give them a chance to understand the finer points of playing quarterback in the National Football League.
John Dorsey's with us, the general manager of the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people were surprised with your second pick. You had 1 and 4, and at #4 you took Denzel Ward, the corner out of Ohio State. A lot of people thought Bradley Chubb was the best defensive player in this draft. What was the difference there for you?
I thought the difference, anytime you can acquire a shutdown corner, you go do it. After talking to various coaches at Ohio State, watching him on film, I felt very comfortable with this pick. He's got tremendous vertical speed. He's got short area quickness and acceleration. He's got great ball skills. He loves the game of football. And in today's football, you can't have enough NFL caliber cornerbacks. I've always said nowadays you actually need 5 real cornerbacks the way that offensive coordinators begin to, make that game plan for the offense. So I think you can't have enough of these defensive corners.
Now, it's an interesting process that you undertake here, and it is now very much underway. We very much appreciate you taking a few minutes for us today. Thank you. Best of luck. We'll check in again soon.
Thank you, Mike. Goodbye.
All right, that's John Dorsey, general manager. Beetle, what do you have?
Oh, meanwhile on Planet Earth, Brainy, who knew Mark Sanchez can do a Gruden impersonation? Let me hear it. Well, I'll be the judge of it, actually.
You're going to like it.
I would say that out loud.
Take my word.
These guys are bringing all-out pressure. That's one more than you can block, Jaws. Now, these guys are coming at him 100 miles an hour. And look at him, calm. He's signaling receivers. He's giving them the signal here. checking protection, maybe giving a dummy cadence, right? Hut, hut. Dummy cadence, I know what you're doing. He undresses the defense and throws a strike down the pipe to Dallas Clark. You know, this guy goes on the road. I call this guy the sheriff. You want to know why? He comes into town and he lays down the law.
It's a
Pretty good.
All right. Is it?
You're underwhelmed?
I feel like I'm underwhelmed.
He's not Frank Caliendo for
sure.
crying out loud. He's Mark Sanchez.
I like Mark Sanchez, but that
I
wasn't
did
the
too.
best
It wasn't the best.
imitation.
Wasn't the worst, it wasn't the best. How about that?
It wasn't the Buck
I
Fumble,
enjoy
but it wasn't Super Bowl champ.
We got SportsCenter tonight, 6 Eastern after PTI Cavs Raptors. We got a preview of Game 1 from Windy. We got a look at the impact Steph will have on his return tonight with Golden State and how much longer kickoffs are liable to be around the NFL. SportsCenter, 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. All right, coming up, Beetle, listen close. The situation in San Antonio has been simmering for some time. Woj is going to join us with revealing insight into Kawhi Leonard's future with the Spurs. Plus, you can forget an 8th straight trip to the NBA Finals. Why one of us thinks LeBron isn't even going to make it out of the second round. That's next. This is Get Up.
Bronze and gold.